Oh, look, it's Easter, and let me tell you that, well, yesterday was Good Friday, and it started with me at about 2 in the morning, realising I'd left my phone somewhere and don't know where. I'd lost it. I searched the bedroom at 2 in the morning, and then thought, oh dear, perhaps it's in the car. I went down to the car and it wasn't. No, that's right. It wouldn't be in the car. I didn't go down to the car because I travelled in someone else. Oh no, it's in his car. Oh dear. Perhaps I dropped it between the house we were in, where the meeting was, in the dark, and the car. And so it went on. I went back at 2:30 in the morning, checking the street to see if my phone was left there outside of his house. I didn't knock him up at that time in the morning, of course, or night, whatever you like to call it. And no good. And oh my goodness, I thought, no, I can't do anything about this. Yes, I can. I will thank God for the situation. So I courageously thanked God for losing the phone, that in trust that he had, of course, always a blessing. There's something good in it. And that started to ease my mind, and I resolved on the importance, of course, of controlling the mind. That's everything. In terms of the Jesus story, it's when you pray, believe that you have received. In other words, control of the mind is everything. Not, oh my goodness, isn't this a calamity, how terrible, auntie's dying of cancer or something. No, well, at the very least, believe that she's going to heaven, and at the very most, believe that she's not going to heaven yet, she's going to have a good life and be better prepared for it here on earth, a few more years, and so on. You control the mind, and I control the mind I hold by practice thankfulness to God. Since the situation is so dominant, it has to be thank you for the situation. I've lost my phone. And I've lost the recordings on it. That was beginning to worry me more than the cost of the phone. How many recordings have I lost? I'm not sure. Probably 20. Could be hopefully only 10, but I've got most of it backed up on the computer, but not everything. And so I woke up at 6 in the morning, very bright and alive, I can tell you, ready to get on with the search. And you know, I didn't come across the phone until about 1 in the afternoon. I'm not sure when it was. But I did, and it turned up, of course, less than a metre from where my head was in bed. Even though I'd searched the room and the bedding and everything else, I'd missed moving this particular item, and there it was behind it. It had slipped off the pillow into it on the floor. Now that seems, trivial, but an amazing Easter. But an amazing teaching time, of course, and the reward of trusting in God. I mean, I had a lovely time with the chap whose house we'd had the meeting at. You know, when I went back yesterday and tried to see if it was, and some perhaps, was in the street and so on, and talked to him, and we chatted for hours. Most interesting man. A real blessing. And then I came back to the house not having found it, and through the grace of God and again the incredible help of my housemate from downstairs, Carol, found it, just found it. Almost intuitively, very, very good, lovely. And earlier, first thing in the morning, when I'd gone at about 9 o'clock to one of the chaps who was having a lift with us, he spent an hour or so just trying to trace where the phone would be by checking online and using various apps that we were, or avenues online that we weren't successful with handling. You know, I had at least three people incredibly helpful in this quest, and a blessing. And the whole thing was a great blessing. I mean, it's bizarre, but it was a quite perfect. Perhaps perfect is overstating it, but quite wonderful. Lovely day. Good Friday. I'm not sure how much aware of God, but much. And terrific. Release, of course, when I found the phone. Great blessing, a joy. Lovely day. And as you can see, I've now churned out a few and recordings of this date today, Saturday. And it's now 8 o'clock and it's time I finished. But I just wanted to say how, well, it just happens to be Easter.